Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Terry, and today I wanted to show you something that is not necessary but makes getting into food preservation so much easier. Back when we were first learning how to can and play with using ingredients instead of just opening a jar of things, we discovered these Mrs. Wages mixes. Now they have gone up in price significantly. And so I don't know that I would 100% recommend them if you're going to be putting up tons of produce anymore. But back when we were buying them, it was very reasonable. But there's still a super easy way to do it. Back when we first started buying this is what it looked like, this packaging. Now it looks like this. It is still the same product. And the cool thing about it is it calls for 6 pounds of fresh tomatoes or 6 cans of tomatoes, or you can even use home canned tomatoes. So this has all the spices and everything in it, so it makes it super easy. We also have a pasta sauce one that we're going to be making tonight in addition to the salsa. I had the last 24 pounds of tomatoes from our garden plus 2.5 that didn't fit into the batches, the 6-pound batches. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with these in another video. So we're going to be making one batch of salsa, our final batch of salsa this year, and 3 batches of the pasta sauce. Now I ran them through the Victorio. So we're using our Victorio and running the 6 pounds of tomatoes through with the salsa cone, so it comes out chunkier. So for the salsa, this is the cone. You can see how loose that is. And then for the sauce, the holes are smaller and finer so that you don't get as much of the seeds or that kind of stuff through, so it makes a much better sauce. So what our plan is, I'm going to get going on the salsa and the sauce. I'm going to dump this last batch in. This is the waste from the Victorio. We ran it all through there. And because these were the last of the tomatoes, I had to cut out any bad spots. So this batch we're actually going to freeze for now because I don't have it in me to get them loaded in the dehydrator. But then we'll take them out and we'll dehydrate them and turn them into a tomato powder. Break up the dehydrated bits and run it through the blender, and it turns into a powder that then you can add flavor to sauces. You can thicken sauces. You could use it if you're making like a beef stew. You could help give the broth more flavor. Lots of different things that you can do with it. But otherwise, it just goes to my chickens, or if you don't have chickens, to the garbage. So it's a great way to then use everything. For the salsa, to the 6 pounds of tomatoes that we ran through the Victorio, we are going to add a 1/2 cup of white distilled vinegar and then the packet. Now, one thing about vinegar is recently they have started doing weaker vinegar. I think it's 4% that they're putting out. And so you've got to make sure for canning you need 5% vinegar. So make sure you check your vinegar when you buy it and make sure you're getting the 5% if you're going to use it for canning, which is extremely important for acidifying it and making it safe for home canning. Now for the pasta sauce, for each batch you do the 6 pounds of fresh tomatoes or the canned, depends on what you're wanting to do, and then a 1/4 cup of sugar, and then a packet of this. So you can see how easy using these packages makes it. We have picky eaters in our house. We have some neurodiversity in our house, and sensory issues are a thing. And one of the reasons why we stuck with these after we started using them was The salsa comes out the same way every time. No variation of, well, the onions were stronger or the peppers were stronger, or wow, that batch was hotter because those chili peppers were hotter. It comes out exactly the same every time, which when you have people in your household with sensory issues or picky eaters, that is super important. And so for us, it has been worth it to go ahead and buy these packages. Now, like I said, the price has gone up significantly recently. It's still, each of these packages makes 5 pints. So it still isn't bad when you break it down per jar, what the cost is. But it is more expensive than when we started buying these over a decade ago. On the pasta sauce, okay, we're going to bring it to a boil. Then we're going to reduce the heat and simmer for 25 minutes. And you can use it fresh at that point. You can freeze it or you can can it. And then for the salsa, it is bring it to a boil and then simmer for 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. Hard at work, or hardly working, depends on how you look at it. Oh, there's the timer. Time to get busy canning it up. Using our Presto Electric Canner makes the job much easier. Okay, we got the salsa all jarred up. And now I'm going to add water. For water bath canning, you need to have it about 1 inch over the top. On me, this part of my thumb is 1 inch, so I know I've got to fill it that much more. I have my dial all set already. The recipe calls for it to water bath can for 40 minutes. Because of my altitude, I need to add 10 minutes to that, so I set the Presto canner for 50 minutes on boiling water can. I'm going to put more water in it, and then we'll go ahead and close it up and hit start. And then the pasta sauce is cooking away. It came to a boil and now is simmering. We have just under 20 minutes left on the simmer, and then we'll go ahead and jar it up. I'm going to use my regular stovetop water bath canner for that, so I'm going to get it going on the stove now that I've got the other burner open from doing the salsa. So if you're looking for something to try that is not scary, that you don't have to worry about having a whole bunch of ingredients on hand, this may be it for you.